Hey guys, I'm very happy to be back from holiday, boy here, and welcome to round 17 of the GP4 Offline Championship 2016 season. We're here for the Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka circuit. Kudos to those who get which YouTuber's intro I'm referencing there. But after last round, the Malaysian Grand Prix, I also like to thank Miklos for taking the commentary for me. He did very well, as he always has done in the DTM Offline Championship. The last round won, of course, by Jay Mackenzie with Woolnella retiring, meaning that Mackenzie closes back up on Woolnella in the title fight. So the previous Japanese Grand Prix winners here, you can see Willers has reigned supreme, with James Willers winning twice and Joseph Willers winning once. We've had a variety of winners here at Suzuka. It's definitely been a great race throughout the years. One of the best tracks on the calendar, in my opinion. 53 laps, the lap record set by Joseph Willers back in 2006. First season of when the OC started. 53 laps, 18 corners, a circuit length of 5.800 kilometers. The tyres we'll be using will be the ultra soft tyres, so that's the purple tyres, and the driver of the day was given to Gabriel Gomez, who took his first ever podium last time at Malaysia after a fantastic race. So here we are going to take a look at the starting grid for the Japanese Grand Prix. On pole position it's Woolnella, and second it's Amar Khan, which means for the first time in forever there's not a Mercedes front row. On the second row we have Miklos Gao in third and Rick Yan in fourth for Force India. On the third row of the grid we have Jay Mackenzie and Romain Quagg, not the qualifying that Mackenzie particularly would have wanted, with Woolnella on pole position. On the fourth row of the grid we have Joseph Willers and Roland Moitian for Ferrari and Williams. On the fifth row of the grid we have Oliver Glazebrook and Michael Mocho. Glazebrook is still one of the drivers yet to have a seat confirmed for next season. Evan Byrne is 11th for Haas, with Franco Lopez 12th for Force India. On the 7th row of the grid, on the 13th and 14th positions are the two Saubers, Roberto Gamba and Bartius Kloss. 15th and 16th on the grid are Frank Gamba and David Greenwood for Renault. On the 9th row, 17th and 18th, we have Gabriel Gomez and Tiravinal Tiranen. Not the qualifying Gomez would have wanted, but I mean the third was, you could say it was a fluke, but he definitely deserved it in Malaysia last time out. Yuri Marson 19th and Florian Vogel 20th. Bad qualifying by them, but it was due to the fact that qualifying one was wet. And on the back row of the grid we have the two Manners of Etienne Jones and Nicolas Pascalis. So there we go. And the team news for next season: Roland Moitian will remain at Williams 2017, but Paulino Tomaselli is going to be promoted from GP2 and will drive for the Sauber team next year. Tomaselli, who did have a good start to the season in GP2 but has fallen away a bit in the second half of the season. But congratulations to him anyway for getting the seat next season. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, and obviously that's one Sauber seat filled, so it'll be interesting to see who fills the other one. But anyway, enough of that. We're on the grid for the Japanese Grand Prix, 53 laps around the only figure of 8 circuit on the OC calendar. We now have 5 lights that are now on, and we're underway for the Japanese Grand Prix. And who's going to get the jump coming into the first section of corners, coming onto the S's? It looks like that Nella has got the best start, and it looks like Gal is being overtaken. Well, he's got into second place, I should say, as all the cars head through the first corners, heading into the next section of corners. Nella leading, Gal is in second, third is, I believe that is Amar Khan. Yep, Mackenzie's actually moved up to fourth, so he's made a great start. Franco Lopez has not made a good start for Force India. He's dropped a number of positions. He was in fourth place, I think. Mackenzie already on the back of the Force India of Rick Yan. Now on the inside, will he make it stick? And the answer is yes, he does. Makes a move on the inside. I mean, you can't overtake them in real life, but here in the GP4 OC you can, as there's a bit of dust being kicked up. But so far everyone has avoided any contact, and we are so far have had a clean start. We can down to fourth position, so there we go. So they come out of the hairpin, heading towards the double left-hander before the back straight, before one of the most infamous corners in Formula 1, 130R. So Willers now on the back of Amar Khan. Seems to be falling away quite a bit right now. It's not, unfortunately, going very well, but it probably means that he's got a lot of fuel, although Willers does also have a lot of fuel in his car as well. So as Willers is now on the inside, heading down the back straight, heading towards 130R. Is he going to make it stick before 130R? And the answer is yes, he does. Goes past Carr very easily there, so Carr definitely must have a heavy amount of fuel. That's the reason why he's struggling already in this race, as the cars come across the line for the first time. as Warner sets the fastest lap of the race. Of course, Gallus in second, Mackenzie already getting close behind him in third. Fourth is Riccian, fifth is Willows, sixth is Carr, seventh Moichin, eighth Glazebrook, ninth Lopez, and Quark in 10th position. As Lopez is right on the back of Glazebrook there as all the cars head through the first corner, and so far everyone has got through the first lap cleanly, which is a miracle, and Sally an absolute miracle, as now Mackenzie already on the back of Mikolas Gau, coming through, heading towards Degner, and he's on the inside. He's going to make it stick, and the answer is yes, he does. He makes stick coming through Degner, and they head towards the hairpin. So the Mercedes are just they're unbeatable right now. There's just no stopping them right now as they come through the hairpin. There's Carr down in sixth, who has got Moishin, who's closing up to him. Glazebrook in ninth. There's Lopez in eighth. And I think Lopez might have actually got past Glazebrook, because I'm pretty sure he was behind him. And yes, he has. This is coming into Degner. Lopez on the inside of Glazebrook and gets through on the inside pretty easily, and makes the move up into 8th position. So as we look at the Force India of Jan, who is not that far away from Gal, he's only just about a second away from the Hungarian driver. He's got Willows, who's also not too far away from him either, in 5th, and Moitin, who's in 6th, who's got past Amakar, who's now under pressure from Lopez already. So, and you can see, look at the amount of fuel that Carr has got in his car, 32 already. So he's not going to be pitting for a while, so he's on the 1 stop, but that's surely not going to work, as he actually goes wide here, and he's, wow, that's an unbelievable save. That's probably one of the saves of the season. How on earth did he not spin there? That was quite extraordinary. Unbelievable, coming through Spoon Curve right there. As we look at Lopez now on the back of Carr, he's going to make a move coming into Degner. He's on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? And the answer is, I think he is, yep. And he's up into 7th position. So Carr dropping down the field like a stone right now. He's got Quarg behind him in 9th, and then Glazebrook in 10th, although he's a bit behind. But he's struggling right now, Carr. It's not going well for him at the moment, and it's not going to get much better, I would say, because he's got a whole bunch of cars behind him who must be on lighter fuel. So Moitin's on 18, there's Jan who's on 17, Gal 16. So a lot of these guys will be doing obviously the 2-stop. Well, I think majority of these guys will be doing a 2-stop, with the exception of Carr, of course. Quarg, who's got a lot of fuel as well, could be doing a 1-stop, I'm not sure. As here is Michael Mocho trying to make a move on the inside of Glazebrook for P10, as we've got a yellow flag out somewhere, and there's a car off, I think, and oh, that's Pascali who's off, and I think Greenwood may have been involved as well. So Pascali does eventually rejoin, but he is stone dead last. So something I think has happened between the two, as we're looking on board with Pascali, who's behind the Renault of David Greenwood, coming towards Spoon Curve, who's on the inside. Was Pascali? Oh, it's just unfortunate contact there between the two. There's nothing that they could really do about it. It's just there's not enough room there. That happened right in front of actually the Ferrari of Volker there, who's made up a few positions already over on the start, and he'll make another 2 there. Thanks to that collision, the incident between the two will be put under investigation, but I would imagine that nothing is going to get given for that, because that's, I think, just a racing incident, really. Here is Michael Mocho, who's on the inside, as we saw of Oliver Glazebrook, and did he make it coming into 130R? The answer is, it looks like he has. Yep, he's passed him, as Glazebrook tries to launch it into the chicane, and the answer is no, he doesn't. So Mocho moves up into 10th position into the points. As we look at Mocho, now closing up actually to the back of Quarg, although as we know Quarg has got a heavy fuel load. Mocho, his fuel load is still pretty heavy, but not as heavy as Quarg. Here is now Tiranen trying to make a move past Glazebrook into 130R. Has he done it? And the answer is yes, he has. He moves up into 11th, so Glazebrook might have a heavy fuel load as well. Now Tiranen's got quite a light fuel load. Probably explains why his car's quite quick. He moves up into 11th place, so he could be up for some points now, Tiranen. It's certainly not been Renault's season, unfortunately. It's been a disastrous season, to say the least. I mean, they're bottom of the drivers and the constructors' standings, really, and they've just not been very lucky at all this year. As we look at Mocho close behind Quarg, coming through this spectacular sequence of corners, and he's definitely closing up to Quarg, that's for sure. I wonder if he could make a move coming into Degner. I'm not sure. If he comes to the S curves, we've got another yellow flag out somewhere, and it's Franco Gamba, and Franco Gamba is out, and he's the first retirement of the race on lap 5, and it is a crash, so it's not with a collision with anyone. He was running in 20th actually. Look at the amount of fuel he has. Wow, so he's got even more fuel than Carr has. I mean, that's clearly never going to work. Obviously coming through, he gets on the curb there and unfortunately goes off, and that's his race over. I think he probably would have rather had that happen to him than go around with 35 litres of fuel in his car, because I mean he was pretty much going to get nothing out of this race. So that is his race over. Here we are looking at Nicolas Gal coming through the final chicane onto the front straight, and he's got a problem, and he's got an oil leak, and he's just missed the pits. So I don't know if Nicolas Gal is going to make it back to the pits in time or not. I don't know if he will, because there's an oil leak as he comes through the first corner. And no, well, he certainly isn't now. His car is literally on fire, and unfortunately that is Nicolas Gal's race over. So any chance of a podium for him has now gone, as Rick Yan is stuck behind him, and now that's going to allow Willows to close up, but it's very difficult to overtake coming through the S-curves here. So they're going to have to wait until as they come out of the exit of the S-curves heading towards Degner to go by. Now they finally do pass, but that is Nicolas Gal's race over, done and dusted on lap 5 of this race. So 2 retirements on the same lap, and here we are looking at David Greenwood coming through in 20th, who I would imagine is going to go past Gal's car. Where is Gal's car actually on the track? And oh, there it is on the right hand side there. Goes a bit wide, and oh no, and I mean that just literally sums up Renault's season right there. It really does. He hits the debris from Gal's car, Greenwood, and he's going to have to pit, and that's going to end his chance of any points. It's not been his season at all. It's really a shame. So now Tiernan's now in the points, as now the two McLarens of Marta and Glazebrook are battling, and Marta has made it past Glazebrook into 11th position. And yes, Glazebrook does have quite a heavy fuel load, so that probably explains why he's dropping down the order as well. Marta's is very light, and obviously he's recovering from near the back of the grid, and Volker will try and follow him through too. As here we are looking at Mocho, who's been closing up. He's been sticking behind Quag for a few laps now. Hasn't been able to be close enough to make a move, but Volker has now got past Glazebrook as well. Volker also recovering from the back of the grid after that unfortunate qualifying session in the wet for him, which sadly meant that he started... Oh, that was incredibly close. I thought there was going to be a collision there, and there fortunately wasn't, but that could have ended very badly indeed. As we're coming through, as Volker just launched it down the inside, and somehow there was no contact. I don't know how they got away with that, but they did, so that was quite lucky there between the two. So Volker moves ahead of Glazebrook. Now here is Mocho. This is the closest he's been so far, and he's been behind Quag for a few laps now. He's surely going to make a move coming into Degner, and he's on the inside. Is he going to try and make it stick? No, he can't. He has to back out of it there. Mars trying on the inside, and now Tiranen, and he makes it stick, and he's up into the points. So a good move there by the Finn, and so now he'll go after Mocho if he can't get past... well, yeah, he's already on the back of him now, and Marta really has got some pace in that McLaren. You know, on the inside of Mocho, he's going to make it stick, and oh, there was so nearly contact again, similar with his teammate Glazebrook and Volker, but he does make it stick. Marta, he'll be pitting very soon anyway, but this is good pace from the Finnish driver, still yet to be confirmed as well for next season, so they're not sure where he's going to go, if he's going to stay at McLaren or if he's going to go to a different team. He's had a pretty good season. I mean, both McLaren drivers have had pretty good seasons, I would say. So it'll be interesting to see if they both stay or which one of them will stay. We don't know yet. So he's now coming off the back there. Volker now will be trying to get past now Tiranen, and I wonder if he's going to be close enough coming into the first corner. I don't think he's quite close enough, so I have to wait until Degner will be his next opportunity to overtake as they come through the first corner. He's not quite close enough there, so we'll have to wait until Degner come through the right-hander. He's going to follow his slipstream through the S-curves. And now here is Marta already on the back of Quag. And surely he's going to make it coming into the Degner. He's actually going to be pitting this lap, as a matter of fact, is Marta. So he needs to not do anything stupid before he goes in. He's right behind the Williams of Quag. Will he try and make a move on the inside? And the answer is, does he make it stick? And yes, he does. Moves up into 8th position temporarily. But still, this is good progress from the Finn, and Volker's made it past now Tiranen in the background there for 11th, so good move there by the German driver. And you can see coming through, I was wondering if he was going to be close enough to make a move, and he was almost pushing him through the S-curves there. He was right behind him. He was waiting for the opportunity to arise, and he gets on the inside there, and it's so sketchy trying to make a move through there. You couldn't do that in real life, but here you can, which is a good thing, of course, meaning more overtaking. Now into the pits comes Jiri Marta, and as I suspected, the Pascali Greenwood incident concluded to be a racing incident. I'm not too surprised about that. I would have been pretty surprised if any penalty was given to either driver, because I do think it was simply a racing incident, really. So Marta comes in, 20 laps of fuel, so I would still imagine that would be a 2-stop. don't think that they would put him on a 3, because it's not a very long race. It's only 53 laps. So out of the pits, Marta comes, and where does he come out on track? He comes out in P17, comes out behind, that's Pascali there. Not particularly what he would have wanted, I think. I think he would have rather come out ahead of him. As Mocho now on the inside of Quag, and there's contact made between the two, but Mocho has made it stick up past the Frenchman there, and I thought that was going to be it for one of them. There was contact made for sure. Just need to have a look at it again from looking at Quag's point of view. And there was definitely just a little nudge there as Mocho went past, but that did the trick anyway. So Mocho finally makes it past Quag into P8 there. Mackenzie now comes into the pits for Mercedes. Out he comes. That was a 5-second stop, so pretty quick there, I have to say. So out of the pits he comes. Where's he going to come out on track? He'll come out, I think, will he still come out in P2? And I think he might actually. He'll come out, oh no he won't. He'll come out between this battle between Jan and Willows there. Don't think he would have really wanted that. And and Mocho's gone a little bit wide there, as Volker already had made it past Quag, coming down the back straight, heading through 130R, and I think he obviously had a run, did Volker. He was, oh no, he's actually pitching this lap as a matter of fact. So did he go into the back of Mocho? I don't know, but Mocho went a bit wide going into the chicane there, but Volker pits nonetheless, and now Tyrrell pits as well on the same lap. So let's see, 5.9. Goes up the pits 20, so I would imagine most drivers are going to do it too. I would think it would be really, I just don't think it would work if they tried to do a 3-stop strategy, as Marta does come out, I think, ahead of Volker there, which is important. Now Tiernan does come out into clear air as well, Greenwood unfortunately already having been lapped. And so this battle between Willows and Jan still going on. It's been, I mean, they've been following each other since the start of the race. It's been fairly close, and obviously Willows did get a chance to overtake him earlier on when he was held up by Gal, but just wasn't able to pass him, so he fell a bit behind. Here is Mackenzie passing Jan for P2 here, coming into Degner. Makes it stick pretty easily there. And so he goes past up into second place once again. Here's Marta behind one of the Manners, and there's Volker right behind. This could end very badly if they're not careful. As oh my word! And the Manor there locked up coming into Degner, and Marta's managed to sneak his way through there. And that was, I think that was that Pascali? I think it was Pascali, and that could have gone very, very wrong. That was incredibly sketchy. I wish we could have seen a replay of that, because somehow Pascali didn't lose control of his car there. Marta snuck through. Unela now comes in for his first stop of the race. He's going actually on a longer stint here than Mackenzie is, but he'll be pitting later on, so that means he'll have fresher tyres for the end. So Greenwood will now go back on the lead lap, and Mackenzie will actually take the lead of this race. So Mackenzie, I think, has actually jumped Nella here, so that's very interesting indeed. But be interesting to see what happens if Nella will go back past Mackenzie. I mean, it's important for Nella because obviously Mackenzie closed up having won the last round in Malaysia, so he needs to win here to extend the gap to Mackenzie once again. Here's Byrne and Pascali battling for 14. Martus as he got through past these guys, but he's now got past the passive Byrne, which is important for him. And you can see he goes through on the inside into Degner and makes it very easy. So he's up into P13. A lucky and unlucky number for some. Now here is Pascali and Byrne who are battling, but Pascali is actually going to be pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. So he's on the inside, and Volker tried to get through there as well. He couldn't, as they come into the chicane. So Pascali will be pitting this lap, so this could give a chance for Volker to make it through, as the cars have to slow down as he goes into the pits there. Now Volker will surely make a move coming onto the front straight, but now they've got Tyrrell behind, and they've got another car behind them as well. I think that's Jones. And now Jones trying to get back past now Tiernan as well. And does he make it stick? Volker, yes. And now Tiernan has lost out there to Jones, who has got by. And that was very close racing. But now Tiernan's losing time here, which is not what he wanted. If we're looking through the rest of the field, it's all going off near the back. Not much happening at the front, but there never is really with the two Mercedes so far clear. Will, as I said, still not that far away from Jan, but just so probably be looking. He can't overtake him on track, so he'll have to probably try and overtake him. Well, he'll have to overtake him in the pits because he'll have no no other way of doing it otherwise. So here's Moitin, he's coming through. Now Riccian does come into the pits. He's going on a very long stint here. So that is, it's going to be in the lap 40, around the lap 40 mark, where he'll pit for a second time. So he comes out crucially in clear air. He does come out ahead of Armar Car. Now here's the battle between the two Mercedes. This is very, very important. This is a battle for the championship here. Nella on the back of Mackenzie, coming into Degner. Does he make a stick, Nella? No, he doesn't. Mackenzie went a bit wide, and that's allowed Nella to get through. He takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix, and that could be crucial. That overtake rather could be crucial. We've not got many rounds to go. We've only got 4 more rounds after this, and Mackenzie went wide there under pressure from Will Nella, and oh, that was very close, and it could have ended in tears there. It fortunately didn't, but Nella does make it through past Mackenzie for the lead of this race. As I said, that could be very, very important with regards to the championship. Now Lopez and Quag, I think that was, have just come out of the pits, and so we're looking. Now this is Michael Mocho on the back of Car, who of course is not pitting for a while yet. Mocho isn't pitting for a few laps anyway. And as I know, it was Moitin, I should say, that came out the pits behind Quag. Moitin on the inside. He makes it past Quag, and that's crucial for him because that means Lopez doesn't get through either. That means that he can create a gap as long as Quag holds up. Lopez will hope that, or Moitin will hope that Quag does him a favour and holds Lopez up. Come through the hairpin right now. So Lopez, will he try and make a move coming through the spoon curve? He's in the slipstream. You can make a move here. It's not easy, but you can. He's now trying to make a move on the inside, and he does it, does he? Yes, I think he does. And he makes it through the spoon curve right there, and moves up into 8th position. Now he'll go after the Williams of Moitin. Here is Mocho on the back of Car, coming into the final chicane. Car goes a bit wide there, and won't get a good run out of the chicane. That will allow Mocho to surely get a run onto the front straight. Now here is Joseph Willis into the pits. Now this could be very interesting. Will he come out ahead of Rick Yan or not? Because this is a battle for the podium for 3rd position. So where is Yan on track? And Willows comes out, and I think Yan's just come across the line. So will Willows come out in front? And the answer is no. But Willows is once again close behind, and he's got less fuel than Yan does. So that battle is going to resume once again. Mocho does come in for his first stop of the race. It won't be his only stop. I don't imagine he would go to the end on this set of tyres. So, and the answer is no, he doesn't. So he will pit. So he'll be on less fuel than a lot of people. So we'll see. So where will he come out on track? He comes out down in P9. Will he come out ahead of Glazebrook? And the answer is no, he won't. Glazebrook just come across there. Come up behind Yuri Master as well. So that's not what Mocho wanted. So Master does come out ahead. So that's important for Master, but he needs to get past his teammate Glazebrook, who's not pitting for quite a few laps. And so now this is a battle for P3 actually. It is now resuming. So Willows has closed the gap from that pit stop, and he's now right behind the Force India of Rick Yan. This is a legitimate battle for P3 here. Will it be decided now? So Willows is right behind Yan as they come through Spoon Curve now onto the back straight, heading towards 130R. Willows is already way in the slipstream. He's now on the inside as they come heading towards 130R. Will Willows make it past before 130R? The answer is still side by side. Has he made it stick? And yes, he has. So Willows moves up into P3, but will Rick Yan try and get him back coming onto the front straight? And I don't think he will. I don't think he got a particularly good run through the chicane there. So that's very important for Willows. He takes, well, for the moment, a temporary P3 out on track, but who knows? It could still change before the end. There's Master in length. There's Mocho, who's battling with the McLaren of Glazebrook. So did Mocho get past Master? He must have got past Master. So that's one thing we didn't see. So here it is on your screen. So he was right behind the McLaren of Master here. So he goes through past through Degner. There's a late move there, but he made it stick nonetheless. Now he gets past Glazebrook. So unfortunately for Master, couldn't get past his teammate there, and that's affected him very badly. Now Mocho right behind Glazebrook, but he's got to be careful because Master's still right there. He can still easily take the position back. He's on the inside, and Glazebrook goes wide. He goes off, and oh, he goes right in front of his teammate there. Oh, and that, I thought there was going to be a bad collision there. That's not going to please Master at all. So now he's going to have to wait for the next opportunity to overtake him there. But that was very, very sketchy. So here we are looking from Glazebrook's point of view, coming through, heading towards Degner. So just goes wide there onto the gravel, and comes back onto the track right in front of his teammate at the worst possible moment. And Marta had to brake there, otherwise that could have been a bad collision. And now that's going to invite Florian Volker into this battle as well. Now Marta comes through onto the front straight. Will he try and make a move on Glazebrook heading towards the first corner? I'm not sure, but he could be under pressure here because Volker's got a great run out of the chicane, and it looks like he might make a move into the first corner. He's on the inside, and he doesn't make it stick there, so he has to wait. So Marta, unfortunately, is losing a huge amount of time here. And that's Moitian, who's been overtaken by Lopez, who's been closing up on him the last few laps. He's finally got past him, so well done to Lopez. You can see him coming through on the inside, coming into Degner there. So nearly collision. There's been many collisions coming through Degner over the years. Just need to just go back and look at all the races we've had here. Now here is Marta, who still hasn't got past Glazer. Will he make it stick now? The answer is, well, he makes it stick, and it gives him a little barge there on his car, so he gets through finally, but that's lost him a huge ton of time. So he finally makes it past. There's a tap there, and that could have gone a lot worse once again. Fortunately, it didn't, but he moves up into the final points position of 10th. So Mackenzie, who's still just about sticking with Wilnella in front of him. So as we look at Lopez, who is coming through in 6th, Moitian, who's in 7th, Quag is in 8th, Mocho 9th, Marta, who's in 10th, but now Volker's getting past Glazebrook for 11th, so Marta's position could be under threat if he's not careful. Volker does make it stick through 130R, up into 11th, so he comes through into the chicane, and now he could go after Yuri Marta, so Marta could be under pressure here, and it could all be thanks to his teammate. The reason why he might not be in the points here, but actually he comes into the pits, and so does Michael Mocho. They both come into the pits. Let's see where they come out on track. Mocho comes out of his pit box. Marta will come out in second. And so let's see. And Marta comes out in P14. Does come out in clear air, which is important for him. Quag comes out of the pits as well. Volker comes in. I think all these guys must be having their final stop. I didn't actually see how much fuel they put into Marta's car. I imagine they would get into the end. And oh no, they didn't actually, so wow. So Volker didn't go to the end, so some of these guys were doing 3 stops after all. That is very, very surprising. So as we're looking at Armar Car, who's on the inside of Rick Yan here, so Rick Yan losing even more time. Scar, who I don't believe has actually even pitted yet, I don't think. And Mackenzie comes in for his second and not his final stop, so that's very interesting indeed. I think Nella definitely is going to go to the end, so I'll be interested to see how this works out for Mackenzie. If it does work out, I'm not sure if it is. I think the 2-stop is definitely the way to go. So Mackenzie comes out in P2 still, way clear of Joseph Willows in 3rd position. So, okay. So Rick Yan now at P5. There's now Tonin coming out of the pits. Car coming around. There's Rick Yan. So looking through the rest of the order. So Moitian having a pretty solid race actually for Williams, I have to say. Kept out of trouble, kept it clean. So now there's Glazebrook, who actually is going to be pitting this lap. I think this is his first and I believe his only stop of the race. He's still got loads of fuel left to go as well, so a bit of a waste, I would say, but he's going to come in nonetheless, and he's going to go to the end. So we'll see where this puts Glazebrook. So he comes through the chicane, heading towards the pits. So in he comes. So it'll be interesting to see. Will he go to the end, Glazebrook? I'll be interested to see if he does. He could go to the end. I don't know if he will, but I would imagine he will. I mean, he's still got loads of fuel left, but clearly the team have brought him in early for a reason. So into the pits he comes. And does he go to the end? The answer is yes, he does. He will go to the end of this race. So on a pretty similar strategy to what he had before. And there we go. So he comes out of the pits in P13, comes up behind Gomez, and we've got a yellow flag out somewhere. And what's happened? And there's a car off, and that is Roberto Gamba, who's pulled off just coming onto the front straight there, just before the finish line. And that is his race over, and it was a suspension failure for the Italian there. We hadn't seen much of him this race, but unfortunately his race is over. Never really looked like getting into the points, unfortunately, for Roberto Gamba. But as we see coming through Yep, and there it was. There was the failure, unfortunately, just past pit entry. Literally the worst possible time for Gam to have that failure was just after the pits, and it happened, so that's his race over. And I think that's the third retirement in this race. I haven't actually had that many cars retire so far. So at the moment, as we're looking at Mackenzie, right now running in second, Nella, who's not going to be pitting for a few laps, as Glazebrook makes it past Gomez there, coming through the corner. He moves up into P13. Moisin, will he go to the end? I'm not sure, I don't think he will. He's dropped way behind Lopez. Now here is Marta trying to make his way past Evan Byrne in the Haas, coming through Degner. He's on the inside and makes it through up into 11th position. And so Glazebrook is not that far away either, but obviously he won't be going to the end. So, well, Glazebrook will be, but Marta won't. Car comes in for his final stop of the race. Yep. And let's see where he comes out on track. So he comes out he's down in P7 at the moment. Will he come out ahead of Quag? I'm not sure. And he comes out in, and it looks like he's going to come out still in P7. Yep, so he's in plenty of clear air car, so let's see what he can make of it. At the moment, Nella has got a 12-second lead over Mackenzie. He's not pitted yet, but he's definitely going to be pitting in a couple of laps' time, and he'll be going to the end, whereas Mackenzie will have to pit one more time. So it's not worked out particularly well for Mackenzie, the 3-stop. We've got another yellow flag out coming through the S curves, and there's a car off. I don't know what car that is, and it's now Tiranen. And now Tiranen is out of the Grand Prix. It's been yet again a terrible race for Renault, and it's a puncher for the Thai driver that causes his retirement. So that is, I believe, the 4th retirement of the race. So let's see when it occurred. He was running his 17th. Was he going to the end? I'm not sure actually if he was going to have enough to go to the end. But just after the finish line, right there, was when the puncture occurred, and so that was his race over, and he pulls off the track. So I mean, there's not really much you can say. I mean, as Mick Scow pointed out in the immersion commentary, when is he ever going to get lucky? I think the answer to that is going to be pretty much never, really, unfortunately. So that's his race over, done and dusted. So he pulls off into the wall there and retires the car, and so there we go. So we're over halfway through the race. Let's get back to the action. So now Franco Lopez comes in for his final stop of the race for Force India, and let's see where he comes out onto the track. So the gap between Nella and Mackenzie is down to 10 seconds. Nella will be pitting once more, but so does Mackenzie, which is said unfortunate for Mackenzie that he has to pit again. But I mean, the only chance he really had to win was, I guess, trying to go to the end, but it's not worked out for him. Lopez comes out in 8th. Now Nella does come for his final stop of the race, so Mackenzie will temporarily take the lead back. So as Nella comes into the pits, and he'll definitely go to the end, of course. Yep, he'll go to the end of the race. Mackenzie takes the lead of the race, so Nella will come out of the pits in a very comfortable P2. And so, yep, I mean, the only danger for Nella will be traffic by the end of this race, as he comes in clear air as well. So Mercedes just in a complete league of their own in this race, and he just comes out ahead of some traffic there, ahead of, I think that was Glazebrook. Mackenzie now coming up behind some traffic as well, coming up behind, I think this is Yuri Massa, the other McLaren, in so how much fuel has he got left? He's got a bit of fuel. He's still got probably 2 or 3 laps of fuel to go. So there's Edson Jones in 15th. There's Kloss in 17th. Here is Carr, who's closing up to the back of Roland Moichin. As here we are looking at Franco Lopez, who has now made the move on Quag, and this looks like a move coming into Degner, and he's right behind in the slipstream. Going to make it on the inside, and does he make it stick? Yep, makes it stick pretty easily there. Definitely the most common overtaking spot on this track, certainly in this race. I think the majority of the overtaking moves have been done there. Roland Moichin now finally does come in for his last stop of the race. Moichin, who obviously will have a seat at Williams for next season, definitely deserved. He's had a decent season for Williams. It's not been, I think, fantastic, but it's been all right. It's not been too bad. So he comes out of the pits in where's he going to come out? The lower reaches of the top 10. comes out in P9, so he'll still have some points, but I imagine he'll close up to the back of Volker. But I think Volker has to pit as well, and yes, yeah, he does pit this lap as a matter of fact. He drops down to 10th position. So Marta comes out behind his teammate Glazebrook, who doesn't have to pit again. So there's Willers in P3. There's another car who's pitting this lap as well. And it's Willers actually, as a matter of fact, who's going to be pitting. So there's still quite a few cars that are pitting in these last few laps. Jones is in the pits as well. So a few of them actually have tried 3 stops. But I just don't think that's the right way to go. Here we've got an interesting battle brewing here. This is the 7th. This is between Quag, Mocho and Moitin. Mocho right now in a Williams sandwich, as Moitin is going to surely get past him, as he's already, look at the amount of time he's closed up coming through Spoon Curve there. He's going to be in the slipstream. He's surely going to make it through, coming through 130R. He's on the inside, and he gets it through before 130R, but he's on much fresher tyres, as Mocho actually is going to be pitting this lap, as a matter of fact, so there's no point in Mocho of defending from Moitin there. But Moitin is going to go after his teammate Quag, and I imagine overtake him on the next lap. So Mocho comes into the pits, so would he come out ahead of Volker in P9? What's the gap? 27, I think, .2, I think it was, I just saw there. So I think he could come out ahead here, so this could be very interesting indeed. So Mocho comes into the pits, he'll go to the end. I suppose even if he does come up behind Volker, he'll be on fresher tyres by about a lap or two, but I think it'd be best for him if he came out in front. Mackenzie now does come in for his final stop, which means Nella will take the lead, and I don't think Mackenzie's going to close up the gap in 10 laps unless Nella's tyres go off pretty rapidly, but I don't see that happening. He has less fuel though, so I mean, who knows? I'll be interested to see what the gap comes to in the end. Comes out in P2, just ahead of the 2 McLarens of Glazebrook and Marta, who could be having a battle there, but unfortunately not for the points, just outside of the top 10. Here is Willows in for his final stop of the race for Ferrari. Changes all 4 tyres, and he'll come out in P3, I would imagine. So let's see. So I don't believe Jan's close enough. Comes out of the pits, and yep, still P3 for Willows. So it's been a good race by Willows, probably one of his better races this season, I would say. And Rick Jan actually pits this lap, as a matter of fact, as well. Car goes around, but he doesn't have to go, he is going to continue on, go to the end. So I wonder if Jan will close up to Car at the end. It's going to be interesting to see. We could still have a few battles going on towards the end of the race. We shall see. So Jan comes out of the pits in P6, so he comes up behind Lopez actually, so he might have a bit more work to do than he thought. So that's to get past his teammate Lopez, who wants to get the top 5. Here is Moitin, who has got past his teammate Quag, coming through Degner, and as he comes through on the inside there, and pretty easy move done there. I don't think there's not actually been a proper collision run there, because usually every year there's at least one crash there where one of the cars goes flying off into the gravel or into the wall. We've not had that yet. Here is Rick Jan now battling with Franco Lopez. He's on the inside. There's nearly contact, but he makes it past his teammate Lopez and up into P5. So he's now back up into the top 5, and the gap to Car is 6.4. I mean, it's possible. I think he could possibly do it. Rick Jan? I mean, interesting to see the gap is 1.7. Actually, Car is just there, so it's certainly on. That is for sure. As we've got a yellow flag out somewhere. There's a car off, and it's Yuri Marta, I think it was. And yes, it is. It's Yuri Marta who's out of the race with just 2 laps to go, and he was just outside of the points. So unfortunately, he wasn't going to get anything. But he did have a decent recovery, but unfortunately, just got held up. I mean, he could pretty much take his teammate. I think he was the main reason why he didn't get any points from this race, because he held him up quite a bit after the first stop, and I don't think the 3 stop was has necessarily worked out for absolutely everyone. I mean, for a couple of drivers I think it has, but not for everyone. I mean, it works out for Willows, I guess, and for Jan, I mean, if he gets P4, I think he'll be still pretty happy with that. But there was a problem for Marta, so his car is done and dusted for the race with just 2 laps to go. I mean, as I said, it had been a pretty decent race for Marta, but it's just unfortunate that it had to end this way. So as he pulls his car off towards the wall there. So just 2 laps left of this race, and yep, goes into the wall, and there we go, his race over. So we're now going to go back to the action, as here we are now on the final lap of the race. The gap between Nella and Mackenzie is down to 11.4, so it's roughly about what it was before the last stop that they both had. But Nella has pretty much led the race from the start. It wasn't always easy because Mackenzie came out ahead at the stops, but Nella got past him pretty quickly, and he never really looked back. I think he had this race in the palm of his hand, really, and he needed to beat Mackenzie today, particularly after what happened in Malaysia last time out. So as he comes through the hairpin for the final time, it's been a pretty good race for Nella. He's had to take the win and said to extend his lead to Mackenzie in the championship, and it's going to be very important because obviously this is a big chance for Nella. Next year will be his last season in the top tier, but he'd love to win a title before he retires. I think if he won it next season, it'd be fitting, but he's certainly in with a chance this season, so he'll probably want to get it done this season so he can at least say that he's won a title. As he comes through 130R for the final time, he's got traffic ahead, just needs to stay behind coming through the final chicane. He has no bother. Comes through the chicane for the 53rd and the final time. Will Nella comes now onto the front straight, goes past the manor there. Will Nella is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix and extend his lead in the Drivers' Championship. Well done to him. A fantastic race by the Brits. And so he wins here in Japan. Roland Moichin, he'll be pretty happy with 7th. Mackenzie, P2. Not particularly what he wanted. He would have wanted to have beaten Nella. It was 10.9 in the end, so the gap was down. Quag in 8th, Mocho in 9th. He'll be pretty happy with that. Florian Volker, it was a fairly decent recovery from him. He'll take the last point position in 10th. He was 7.5 seconds behind Mocho, actually, so he was quite a bit behind him in fresher tyres. But Joseph Willers will take P3 for Ferrari. He'll definitely be very happy with that. So there we go, as he comes round the final corner set to come across the line. As we got a yellow flag, and Mackenzie's off. And I think Mocho is off as well, as Willers comes across the line in 3rd. So they've had a collision on the cooldown lap there. That's very unusual. We have had this happen before, but it's a very, very rare occurrence. So what's happened here is Mocho, who finished in P9, and I don't know what was going on there. The two drivers, the Williams and the and Mackenzie there, I think were just going very slowly, and I guess Mocho just didn't expect it. So that was quite surprising, I have to say. Yeah, they went very slowly. They still had plenty of fuel. Mocho just came absolutely piling through. It doesn't really matter because the race is over, but still, that was a very, very weird incident. We've seen this a couple of times before. I can't remember the last time it happened, though, as the rest of the cars come across the line. Car will take P4. So he'll be pretty happy with that. I wasn't sure if his strategy was going to work, but fair play to him. He's taken P4, so he'll be pretty happy. Jan is in P5. I think he'll be pretty gutted that he's in, as he was in a battle with Willows for a fair amount of the race, and unfortunately he's lost out to Willows and lost out to Carr as well. So across the line comes Carr. Now Jan comes across the line in P5. Kloss P4. We've not seen anything from any of the Saubers or actually either of the Manners. 14th for him, 15th for Jones, and then Lopez comes across the line in 16th place. Will Nella sets the fastest lap, a 1:28.770. That is the race over. So now we're going to take a look at the drivers and the constructor settings after we see the fullest results. Will Nella winning ahead of Mackenzie in 2nd, Joseph Willers 3rd, Carr 4th, Rickan 5th, Renko 6th. Last on the lead lap with Moichin, Quag, Mocho and Volker completing the points respectively. These guys were all a lap down. In 11th position was Oliver Glazebrook. He just missed out on points for McLaren. He's one of the ones on the one-stop strategy, which didn't really work out for him. Evan Byrne 12th, Gabri Gomez 13th, Kloss 14th, Jones 15th, Pascali 16th, Greenwood 17th, and Yuri Marta still classified despite his puncture. With now Tiranen, Roberto Gamba, Miguel Escal, and Frankie Gamba all not finishing this race. So we're going to take a look at the driver standings now. So Nella, his lead now goes up to 25 points to Mackenzie, and with the result here, which means that only the two Mercedes drivers can now win the title. The two Red Bulls, the Gallon car, are out of the race. In the rest of the standings, see Ricky Ann moved up into 7th. Not really much else movement in the top 10, top 11 I should say. Moichin in 12th there, gaining a few points. Gomez 13th, Glazebrook, Inescu, Byrne, Pascali, Mocho getting a couple more points as well. Jones, Kloss, Gamba, now Tiranen, and last position of course unfortunately is David Greenwood with just a single point. And once again just not Renault's day at all. One car retiring and one car finishing. One car retiring and the other car finishing in last position. So now we're going to take a look at the Constructors standings as well. Mercedes already the Constructors champions by a comfortable margin. Red Bull in second, Force India in third, extending their gap to Ferrari in fourth. Williams not that far away in fifth. McLaren in sixth. Toro Rosso have moved above Haas into seventh, and Manor in ninth, Sauber in 10th, and Renault in 11th position. So there we go. That has been the Japanese Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to as usual vote me driver of the day and give the race rating a 10. Apologies for my voice in advance, not the best. But anyway, we'll see you guys for the next round of the GP4 OC, the US Grand Prix at the Austin circuit, aka the Circuit of the Americas. So we'll see you next time there.